Hello, welcome to Miniature Realms. My name's Stuart. It's time to test out some more hobby tools. I like to do quick reviews once in a while, and it's back to Gaahleri, who have sent me another one of their small compressors. So let's have a look. Miniature Realms is proudly sponsored by Counterattack Bases. They stock a wide range of counters, gaming aids and movement trays for multiple game systems and offer custom items to suit your club, your event or even your podcast or YouTube channel. Check out the link in the video description. Now this seems familiar. I suppose Gaahleri have already sent me one of their small compressors, the Serenair, which I reviewed here, and you can go and watch that if you'd like to. And before I go ahead with this video, I do have an affiliate link for Gaahleri, of which I do get kickback if you buy products through that link. So I'm being honest with you, I've received this for free. My opinions are my own, but I obviously have an affiliate link and I do get paid if you buy products using that link. I wanted to be upfront about it at the start. I will still give you an honest review. Whether you believe that or not is totally up to you, but I don't like to hide and pretend I'm telling you about these amazing new products and then say, oh, by the way, here's an affiliate link. So I just wanted to be clear about that. So anyway, let's have a look at the actual product. I'm only going to give it a quick check over here, and that's why I put in the title quick review. I'm not using this for hours and hours and hours to give you a really detailed feedback. I'm going to give you my first impressions on it. I'm just not able to spend the time giving it a full day's work. I've got too much on at the moment in time. As usual, get a nice little quick start guide in the box. There's very little to them, but they're actually quite good. Usually they're well written, straightforward, and it's very easy to follow those simple instructions and get your kit working from the box. And I found that with all of their airbrushes as well. Hidden under the main thing here is your air hose. If you pick one of these up and can't find it, you get a few spare O-rings for your airbrush as well. And this is the airbrush. I'm not going to use this airbrush for the demonstration here today. I've got loads of airbrushes set up next to me, so I'm going to be using one of those. I'm going to be using a Gaahleri one. Here's the cable for it, and then there's the main unit itself, as you can expect. And it's a much nicer looking unit than the Serenair. It feels quite well made. It is plastic, it's not metal. Got little rubber feet to take away some of the vibration, and then you've got your power adapter. Very much like the Serenair, I'm really disappointed with the length of the cable of the power adapter. My plugs are really not very far away from my desk at all, but once it's plugged in, this is about as far onto the desk I can get it. So in shot of the camera, but I couldn't get it much further forward. So disappointing. It's something I picked up on when I reviewed the Serenair. It really limits where you might be able to put it on the table. I thought it was a bit of a shame that there isn't a longer cable in this. Not saying they should have listened to me. Obviously, I am small fry, but I'm sure other people have noticed as well. You have a little holder here for your airbrush should you wish to attach it. I didn't really use it. And then attaching the air hose here. Again, this is to one side, which is great if you're right-handed. And then if you're left-handed, it might cause problems with your setup on your table should your cable be long enough. And that is your first sound of it. I've left that sound in from my camera when I did this initial sort of turn on and test. So a bit of an annoying noise, but it's not very loud at all when you compare it to the sound of a larger compressor. Obviously it's right next to you. So you flick the button on the top, pressing down, you can quick switch between three modes. So you've got low mode, you've got medium mode, you see the little dots along the bottom there, and then you've got your high pressure mode. Or you can just turn the little control nozzle, and then you can let the sound in there so you can hear the volumes of the three different sounds. But that's it really, that's pretty simple. The way I decided to put it through its paces rather than just firing it all over paper was actually to test it out with some of the hardest work that a compressor can do in some ways, is to prime a miniature. It's because primer paint's quite often that little bit thicker, so it can be trickier to get a good coat through your airbrush. And again, I'm deliberately leaving the sound in here so you can get the experience of it. Apologies if that's annoying. I know a few people commented on my review of the Serenair that I didn't leave it in. So I'm using their own black primer, which I think is fantastic, by the way, and I'm not really having any issues getting a nice smooth coat on the miniature here. Now I'm doing a white zenithal prime, and white again to test it because it's one of those problematic colours. It's hard to get a nice smooth coat through
through your airbrush. I thought if I test it with a couple of the hardest paints to use, so a smooth white, getting a black primer through, this is usually a little bit more viscous, and it works, so that will be a really good tester for it, because ideally other colours should be easier to get a smooth coat. And as you can see and hear, it is going through fine. Now I have cut the sound off for the next part because that's annoying me as much as I'm sure it's annoying you with me talking over it. It was no problem at all. I could get a smooth coat. It's very disconcerting to watch the PSI jump up and down there. It's giving you I guess a live update on what your pressure is, and of course when you pull back and press down on the air, you're going to lose pressure from what you set it at. And normally my compressor's under my desk, I don't even watch the needle, so that stuff's going on anyway, but it does look a bit strange. But as you can see, overall zenithal prime's not too bad, and I went on to play around with a little bit of paper and stuff as well, and overall it was pretty good, to be honest with you. It definitely does the job of a easy travel light compressor to get a little bit of work done. I know some people use these smaller ones for all their work, especially the Serenair. Quite a few people have purchased it that I know that use it all the time as their main airbrush tool. Now, I airbrush nearly every day for long periods, so I would never try putting something like this through the paces. I don't want to try and blow them up. I don't think they're for that. If you're away with work, traveling, taking one of these away with you might be really, really good. So from that sense, it does the job. So what do I think about it? I thought it was absolutely fine. It looks so much nicer than the Serenair, so aesthetically it looks fantastic. It's still plastic. Doesn't bother me. It feels like a well-made guitar pedal or something of the plastic variety, not the metal variety. It looks pretty cool, and it's not too noisy. As I say, it's a little bit annoying when it's next to you on the desk, but I think that's also because I'm used to my compressor being under the desk out of the way, and it's a slightly lower rumble, so it's probably louder, but it affects my ears differently, so you'll have to make your own mind up about that. Technically it is quieter than the Serenair, and it's going to be a lot quieter than a lot of big compressors for sure, but it does sit right next to you. That's what it's designed to do. I was disappointed with the length of the cable. As I mentioned in the video, it was a problem on the first one, and I think it's still a problem now, depending on how far away your plug socket is. If it's just behind you on the wall of a desk, you're not going to notice it. If it's like me and it's underneath the desk out of the way, it's quite a short cable in order to set that up. And yes, you can have quite a long air hose cable, but you want that control next to you. That's the whole point of having it next to you. So sort of doubling up the length of that cable, if not more, will be better. I'm sure you can buy alternative AC adapters which will resolve that problem as well, but it'd be nice to see one in the box. It's not a deal breaker whatsoever. It would just be a slight quality of life improvement. Now, I'm right-handed, so it doesn't affect me, but the hose being fitted on the right hand side of it is great if you've got the compressor off to your left and you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, or because of your plug you need to have the unit on the other side, then that cable is going to be looping around the bottom. And again, in many cases not a problem, because you may well have plenty of slack. In some cases it just means that you'll be fighting with more wires and potentially cables as you go. So a central fitting might not work for the internal designs. I'm not an engineer, but if that was a design choice, one being central at the bottom would be better, I think. So what about the performance? Overall, absolutely fine. And the test I did, which I believe it is relatively challenging, doing some of the harder things, which is getting primer through an airbrush, which is often something that will clog. It did that fine using their own primer, which I genuinely think is brilliant product. The matte, if you're a war gamer, go and grab it. It is really, really great and really strong afterwards. Much easier to get through an airbrush and stronger than anything I've done. Again, I think I've done a review of that. I'll pop that up here now, but that's not what this is about. And then the white again, because sometimes take a little bit of fiddling around to get a nice smooth coat of white, especially if you're new to airbrushing. I know a lot of my viewers on the channel will be watching my painting tutorials and they want to use a zenithal base layer, because that's what I do in a lot of my videos, and they ask how to do it because I don't have an airbrush. And this is the kind of product they might be attracted to. Again, I could recommend it for that. You'll absolutely be able to do it, and that's partly why I use it as a demonstration. However, it does feel like it lacks a bit of power. I was riding that at top top end. It felt like my foot was flat to the metal. If I'm going to use a car analogy, it felt like if you've ever ridden a little moped or motorbike, that your wrist was on full lock going at top speed. It didn't feel like, for the kind of stuff that I was doing, that I was able to knock down that pressure at all without losing a little bit of control. Now, that might be getting used to the product, might be me getting used to thinning my paint more for it or something compared to the way I would normally do it for that job. However, it did feel like it lacked a tiny bit of power. If anything, it felt like it lacked a little bit of power compared to the Serenair. The Serenair is not as pretty as this, but overall it felt like a slightly easier product to use with a little bit more variance in the power that had a little bit more use. Again, I don't have the Serenair anymore. I gave it away on the channel, so I can't do a like-for-like comparison here today, but this doesn't feel like a massive improvement over that at all. Not really any worse, but it looks nicer. But is it any more powerful? Would I choose this over the Serenair if I could have one or the other? I may still pick the Serenair. So no, not a bad product at all, but I think on balance I just about prefer the Serenair. So thank you very much to Gaahleri for sending me over the Turbox to try out and sharing with you guys. If you're interested in picking your own one up or any of their other products that you might see on their website and you want to support me, then clicking through that link really helps. If not, you can get them at other places, including at your local Amazon stores. They have Amazon stores in lots of different places now, depending where you are in the world. I really do recommend that black primer. I thought it is absolutely fantastic and the best airbrush black primer, matte primer that I've ever used. I love it. If you're looking to prime indoors, depending on where you are in the world, certain weather doesn't always allow outside priming, and you've got an airbrush, I really recommend it. I think it's fantastic. If you'd like to support me and the channel even further, there's loads of other affiliate links in that video description, including my Patreon, so please do go and check those out. Check out the channel sponsor as well, Counterattack Bases, make loads of gaming aids and custom dice. But thank you very much for watching. Take care. I'll catch you soon.